People, what's going on? Bear with me 1 minute, yeah? Because out here it's cold. I didn't even think it was going to be. It's, it's cold out here, man. Yeah, namaste. Very quickly, recommended read, yeah? Maurice Cotterill, The Super Gods. This book here is mind-blowing when it shows you the links between all the Messiah figures in different cultures. So all the kind of corrupted ones, from the Mayans to Hinduism to King Tut in Egypt to the Jesus stuff. You know what I'm saying? It makes so many connections between the teachings. So this is Maurice M. Cotterill. It's called The Super Gods. Yeah, and it's part of the Mayan prophecies. I got all of them. Serious, I love these books. So yeah, I wanted to elaborate a bit on what we were speaking about this Paleman's War, because I had a discussion this morning with my beloved mother, and she brought up so much stuff that was kind of left out of the discussion that we had on the Paleman's War. So I was like, Mum, you just gave me the next live. I'm gonna go live today and add on to the Paleman's thing. So bear with me 1 minute. Special shout out to Solomon and the Co-Son people in South Africa. I salute you. I love what you guys are doing and what you're about, the first men and women. So shout out to South Africa in general, but specifically to my guy, Solomon. I got you, and I'm going to send that book for you as soon as possible. Shout out to Alethea, shout out to Louise, shout out to the Forum family. Let's go. Let's talk about this, man. Nukta o fugminan tutenya enosat, anuki temli pata, anuki li pali ul, nuk halagtu pali ulat, nuk gabaltu pali ulat amabikun, anuki pamahui shil netru, pare shil netru, pa mustarasil shil netru, anuki fi panawo shilwe kalundah kulni, anuki hayuzina zuf. Boom. Yeah. This thing about Putin, I don't know, all of you probably don't got Instagram or not on Instagram, but I posted on my Instagram the picture of Putin standing in front of a picture in the Russian Orthodox Church of 4 black saints or melanated saints. So we're only seeing Putin, like how we spoke about in the Paleman's War, as somebody who's come to upset the apple cart in terms of fighting against the cabal and stuff. But there's more undertones in what he's doing. He's actually making a statement. For him to stand up in front of them 4 black saints in the Russian Orthodox Church and to make the statement about black people, what he made when he said that Africa is a graveyard for Africans, and again he's right in what he said. We can analyze that. I'll post that what he said on my page so you can have a look at it and analyze it for yourself. But in my opinion, everything he said was totally correct about how Africa being a graveyard for Africans, because Africans, especially Africans on the motherland, especially you guys back home, worship white people. They're in the image of the beast or in the image of the Mzungu. They mold themselves in a likeness to these Mzungu, to the point where they act like them. They want to act out and live the lifestyle and have the same mannerisms that these Mzungu have. Hold on 1 minute. Let me get to these points. Yeah, so Putin is making a statement, standing in front of them Russian Christian saints, yeah? Because we discussed before in our other live how Russia's Christianity, Russian Orthodox Christianity is different than like Catholicism and the rest Christianity that goes on in the world. It's kind of like the Ethiopian Coptic Christianity, where it's completely its own, it's put its own dimension on the whole thing. I don't even think they celebrate Jesus' birthday on December 25th. They celebrate his birthday on the next day. They got a whole bunch of different stuff going on, yeah? And I'm not saying this is a fact, but based on my book, Treasures in the Sun, and the research we presented in there, we presented you with the fact that Pharaoh Sesostris, who was way back in the 12th dynasty, you could say he's one of the greatest pharaohs of the Middle Kingdom, of the 12th dynasty that is not really spoken about. They only speak about Ramesses and King Tut and all them pretty recent pharaohs. The further they go back, it gets too black for them. So they put all that stuff in the back of the museum. They don't put it on display. But Pharaoh Sosostris was a very significant pharaoh. He's not insignificant like they want you to believe, oh, he didn't really do nothing, so we're not going to talk about him. This guy is very significant when it comes to history. One, for the military dimensions that he's brought to history, because he was like an early Alexander the Greek. He went around with an army that was smashing people up. He was a force to be reckoned with. And according to Herodotus, which is one of their experts, one of their Muzungu experts from the classical writers of Greece, they call Herodotus the father of history with his 2 books on history. He traveled the world, visiting all these nations, taking down notes, speaking about different peoples, from Ethiopians to Indians and whatever. And a very interesting thing what Herodotus said is that he visited a nation called Colchis, which is up near Russia. You understand? And he said these Colchians was a colony of Pharaoh Sosostris' army. Pharaoh Sosostris had marched his army from Egypt all the way up to the border of Russia. This is a historical fact, to the point where he left the contingent of his army in that region. Now, according to my research and Treasures in the Sand, we make the claim that, yo, he put them soldiers there to put a stop in the bottleneck from the Caucasus Mountains. So certain Neanderthals couldn't keep running down from the mountains and running down into our ancient kingdoms, because it wasn't just Egypt. The Indus Valley was our kingdom before these Aryans came down into the Indus Valley and washed it out into the India that it is today. The same thing goes with Mesopotamia and Sumeria and Akkad and Elam, ancient Iran and all of them. That was all black lands. It was considered as Kush. They were considered as Kushites or Kashi. Do you understand? So Herodotus, the father of history for Muzungu people, says that, yo, he went all the way up to Colchis, and the Colchians, they themselves told him that, yo, we are Egyptians, Ethiopians, Nubians. We come from Pharaoh Sosostris' army that was left here. He said they had broad snub noses like black people, and they had nappy hair like black people, and they had dark pigmented skin like black people. And their word for themselves was that they come from Pharaoh Sosostris' army, the contingent that he left there. Our research says he left them there to stop up the threat from the Neanderthals. So they had to become their own nation, black people right there, so that any threat that was coming from the mountains, we could give the call out and we could deal with the threat early. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying these black people in the Russian Orthodox Church, where did they come from? It could be a case that they chase back to this Colchis, what I'm telling you about, what Herodotus spoke about. They could chase all the way back to Pharaoh Sosostris' army, and they were the original church fathers in the Russian church. They was the original Russian people before all these Neanderthals came out the mountains as Caucasians and stuff and wiped us out of the area, pushed us out of the area. Do you see what I'm saying? So what Putin's doing is making a big statement, because if he's going to stand up in front of 4 of these church fathers, he's opening up this can of worms here. He knows what he's doing in upsetting the apple cart, and there's a reason for it. Let's move on, because I sometimes stick on points too long. So a lot of these Africans, we spoke about yesterday how Africans are more colonized than us. Those on the motherland are more in love with white people and Muzungu culture and Christianity and Islam than we are out here, and we're in their lands. You understand? So I want to say this. Last year, when Biden and them were having their border problem, all of a sudden we had all these black people turning up under a bridge. Till we was like, hold on, is this some crisis actor thing? Because they just disappeared after a short time. It's like, hold on, where's all them refugees that the police were on horse whipping them up and all this stuff, and then they just disappeared, they swept it under the carpet, no one's speaking about it no more. No, you would think that if that was real, the people that were being abused or being whipped, they would still be out there now trying to get some justice and speaking about this. But nobody's speaking about it. It's just disappeared. And remember, some of these colonial Africans, no disrespect to my brothers and sisters on the motherland, some of these colonial Africans, they'll do anything for money. It's easy to get a bunch of them to act like, oh, in Ukraine, they're doing this and they're doing that. And I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying that none of that's going on in Ukraine. But I'm saying they're blowing that. There's a reason they're putting a spotlight on that. There might even be some instances where that's not even real. They just paid a bunch of broke Africans, yo, we'll give you £500, yeah, to go on like you're facing racism in Ukraine and that. Yo, and put it on TV for us to all get in our feelings and stuff. This is how dumb some of these mainland Africans are, some of our brothers and sisters. Do you understand? That US bridge thing, to me, that's some crisis acting thing. That shit weren't real. They was trying to drum up all this noise, you understand, and put us in this hysteria and shit, man. You understand? So Africans are living in the image of the beast, largely speaking, a lot of them, especially these Christians. Yeah, when African Christians are worshipping a white Christ, unless you're in Ethiopia, you're in Axum, Addis Ababa or somewhere where they raw got the black pictures of the black Christ on the wall, and even there they starting to lighten these pictures. Most of you black Christians are worshipping a white Christ. You just won't admit it to yourself. And it's the same with the Muslims when they talk about being these African Muslims, and they turn their back on all of their traditional teachings, whether it's Orisha or Medu Neter, your history, your identity, to come speak up some Islam for some Arab people, some Mzungu Arabs. So the triggers that they use to draw us into this war, Putin and them know what they're doing. They use religion, they use nationality, and they use race, and they use economics, finance. You understand what I'm saying? And also, I want to speak about, it's not just white people that have got this racism. All the other races of non-black people are just as racist. If you speak about Indian people, they've got the same racism, caste system business, not just in India. That shit's going on right here. They got racist Indians all around me. You understand? Muslims, Hindus, whatever. If you book up on a Muslim one, some of them don't want to even want to return the salam alaikum if you say salam alaikum to them. They've got that same ignorant, caste-based Hindu race system that spreads from India and follows them wherever they go. They worship white people, these Indian man. They hate black people. They will use us where it benefits them, or if they're in the same position facing racism like us, then you're their brother. But as soon as the racism's done, they've left you, bro. They don't want to be associated with you. Do you understand? My father told me about these first Indians who came over here in England, because the black people came first. When the Indians came, they sided with black people because they were facing the racism. As soon as they got a little, okay, they got a job now, little cushy job, they no longer want you. You're a nigger. Do you understand? They want to be like the white man. So it's crossed the board. You understand? It's not just Ukrainian people. This shit's been brewing underneath the surface for a lot of people for a long time. It's like Dr. Henrik Clark said. He says, we helped everyone, as African people in the ancient world. If you needed to know, if you needed to upgrade, and we needed to teach you some math or some geometry or some cosmology just to increase your standard of living and stuff, we helped everyone. And they all turned their back on us. And they're all doing the same thing now, because they've been programmed that anytime black people are under the cosh, that's normal. It's accepted, because it's better than slavery. You understand? We were slaves, so they can't really complain, because even though they're dying like George Floyd and that, we've made so much progress in society since slavery. Like, this is some con man thing going on here. And it's about time that, because a lot of people, oh no, you can't say white people are the devil and all this. And now, the proof's in the pudding. So it's time to wake up to these devils, man. It's time to wake up to these devils. And when I say devils, I'm also talking about these people who want to worship white people. You're a devil like them. You people that want to worship the Mzungu, white man worshippers, whether you're black people, whether you're Indian people, even if you're a white person that want to keep making it out like white people are the best thing that God ever designed. It's bullshit. Do you understand? And these African people who, they never want to talk about Ma'at or what it means to be black or African tradition or African history. The only thing they want to talk about is Jesus, and Jesus is God, and if you're saved and shit. You guys are in the image of the beast. Do you understand? And you Muslims who you can't stand to hear us call ourselves gods and goddesses. You ain't got no problem when we call ourselves nigger this and nigger that. Do you understand? Bitch this and bitch that. But as soon as we go and call ourselves Neter and God, all of a sudden everybody got a problem with it. You got a problem with it, you brainwashed. Because I'm sure you never had a problem with people calling themselves nigger and shit. As soon as we start turning it to a positive and calling ourselves gods, you got all these Hebrews, Muslims, got something to say about it. Nigga, all of y'all Negropeans, but you're dressing up like Arabs and whoever else. Yeah, so what the Mzungu are doing, and they're not doing it on purpose, is that this is their nature. They have an animalistic nature because their ancestor is Neanderthal. It's not an opinion, it's not racism, it's not revenge racism, it's scientific fact. They're the ones out here telling people trust the science, hold that energy, yeah? Tell these Mzungu, hold that science, trust the science. You were fucking Neanderthal. That means you're subhuman. So you have certain bits of your nature that normal humans like black people need a reason to kill. I need a reason to kill some other life. Like, yo, I gotta eat, so I'm gonna kill that fish. Why did I kill it? I was hungry. Y'all niggas kill for nothing. You kill for sport. You don't even need a reason to kill. You're the harbinger of death. You're the pinnacle of nature's forces of destruction and death. You, Mzungu. Do you understand? And people can't see it. And for 70 years, they've had people, brothers and sisters, coming trying to enlighten us and being labeled. Oh, this guy thinks he's God. Or he said black people are God. And yo, most of us are going. Remember I said it long time before. Most black people, they're going with the Mzungu. They ain't going to no heaven. People think this judgment is just about white people. It's also about black folk that like to worship these white people. You're going where they're going because you worship them. Fucking hell. Sorry about my language. Yeah. So you've got black supremacists as well. And in my own opinion, they're worse than white supremacists. That's their God. That's like Muslims killing for Allah. They will do anything to kill for their God. Allahu Akbar. So imagine these black supremacists. Yo, that Mzungu man's their God. You can't be out here talking about the Mzungu's the devil and revolution and Armageddon. Nigga, they don't want this shit to change. They're cushy where they are right here. They don't want the upliftment of our nation or our race. That means they lose their position, their cushy little position that they've got in this matrix. So there's not just white supremacists with white skin. There's white supremacists with black skin, brown skin, white skin, yellow skin, red skin. And if you ask me, the black skin's the worst. You know? So among Africans, they have their own form of white supremacy racism. We have it as black people in the West, saying the blacker you are, the more ugly you are. Or the lighter skin, the more nicer you are. You a red bone, yeah? Or you a yellow bone. And we don't give the same credit to the sisters with the darker skin, the beautiful black sisters. We have our own white supremacy racism running around in our own paradigms and psyche. And they have it on the motherland too. And it's also in popular culture, because that's what gave it to us. So when you're looking at all this FHM and Hollywood and Nicki Minaj and sports, and they're showing you beautiful girls, notice they never show you a beautiful dark-skinned woman, whether in music, whether in sports, whether in politics, whether in films. You never see a real beautiful jet black. It always got to be washed out to some kind of like European-looking kind of, you know what I'm saying? Crazy. So the Antichrist is not just a person. Like religion's trying to spook you out so you don't see these things I'm telling you. If you listen to the live we did about the Matrix 4, we was talking about, let's use the Quran for an example. When they speak about the Antichrist, they speak about the Antichrist as the Dajjal. Same thing, Antichrist, Dajjal. They say that when the Dajjal comes, he's going to do all these miraculous things like a kind of Jesus thing, but he's going to do it on a devil thing. So I'll give you one example. He's going to take a man and split this man in half. And when he splits this man in half, this man's still going to be alive and going to be talking. Nigga, you're talking about Hollywood, the TV, this ain't real. You're talking about Revelation 13:15. But because you told yourself you're a Muslim, you probably never ever read Revelation 13:15 because you said, oh, that's corrupt. So you don't want to read it in your ignorance. But it's telling you there, it's not just a man, this Antichrist. This Antichrist will also be a system. Phones, telecommunications, satellite, 5G. You understand what I'm saying? So on TV, them things are happening. A man can get split down the middle on TV, special effects. Oh, whatever movie you're watching. He's but they're trying to spook you out. You understand? And stick you in this spookism. So you don't pay attention to the reality that you're seeing, observable in your own real time. It's observable. You can see it. You don't have to believe it. It's in your face. The Antichrist is a system that's to do with TV and the mainstream media and Hollywood and AI and computers and satellites and 5G and HARP and chemtrails and CERN. That is the beast. Yeah? That is what he's trying to tell you when people getting cut in half in your hadiths and shit, man. But half of the time, you don't know how to separate the allegorical from the literal. So sometimes, let's say, 25% of the time, these scriptures are talking allegorical. It's a symbolism thing. And only certain people will be able to read this symbolism correctly. Because symbolism is a language unto itself that works in telepathy. It works with your brain, your cranial nerves and that. You understand? As I was showing you how visual images go to your brain quicker than the audio. Yeah, so the Antichrist is a system as well as a man. I'm not saying that there's not going to be a person that's the devil incarnate that's running this devil system. Yeah, there will. You understand? But don't let them spook you out into some fairy tale, once upon a time, happily ever after bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? It's talking about the system as well as it's talking about the man when you're reading about this Dajjal or this Antichrist, whether it's in the Revelation or the Hadith. Before this live, I was already referring you back to this image of the beast, which is Revelation 13:15, when it says, and this devil had power to give life unto the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast could walk and talk, speak, you understand, and spellbind people. This is telling you about the real Hollywood, man, social media, man, you understand, smart devices and all of that shit. Yeah, you got pictures on there, you got moving media, film, you understand, videos on there. The image, that means it can, and half the time when you're watching this screen, 75% of the time it's white folk you're going to be watching on standard shit. They boss that shit. Do you understand? That's not our domain, that's their domain. It's only now you're seeing more and more black faces coming onto the screen, getting pushed to the forefront, and we're going to get into that. Yeah, and it's funny how right after that passage about the image of the beast, yeah, and we're talking about, are you worshipping the Muzungu? Are you in the image of the Paleman? Or are you in the image of the God? So we're dealing with the image, which in Hebrew is Saslem, when it says God made man in the image and likeness of him, or of the Anunnaki. You're dealing with the Hebrew word Selem, yeah, T-S-E-L-E-M, which means image and likeness. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we're dealing with imagery here, images, which is the whole media thing, is the whole Hollywood thing. You understand? And it's to do with the flamboyance of Lucifer, the flamboyance of Satan. That's why everything is glittering and putting gold and a lot of light. And that's why most of us have this light obsession. Oh yeah, we want to seek enlightenment, and we're obsessed with this light when we ain't even mastered the darkness. And you can't have light without having darkness. The light wears the clothes of the darkness. The light shines within the darkness. You understand? The darkness comprehendeth not, which means you have to master that shit, the dynamics between the light and the dark, and find balance within yourself. You can't just focus on light. Do you understand? You have to focus on your shadow self too, and the balance. But what they did is associate darkness with evil. So you think darkness and shadow is the same thing. Darkness is not the same as shadow. Because if I take light away, the blackness still exists. The blackness don't need no light. It just is. It's absolute. It's supreme. It is forever. You understand? That's why when you say infinite, it's infinite. Night is black. Infinite. Blackness. Do you understand? When you get light, you get shadow. Shadow separate from the darkness. That's a whole different word. So what they did is replace the word shadow with the word dark. So now you think black people are dark. Okay, so black people must be evil. Black people are of the devil because the devil's dark. They keep telling you about darkness in the world and evil and the darkness. Your skin's dark. Whether you want to admit that you're black or call yourself Indian or whatever, you dark. So if you associate darkness with evil, then you associate you, your ancestors, Egyptians, black history, all that, even the word black with evil. That's why half of y'all don't want to accept that word. Do you understand? So he turned it around, that dynamics. But blackness got nothing to do with no evil. Blackness is supreme. Blackness is balanced. Blackness is just. Blackness is absolute. Blackness is permanent. Blackness is strong. Blackness is original. You understand? Blackness is durable. Blackness is. End of. You understand? So it took 2 world wars and a Great Depression for them to force black people who are normal agriculturalists into this industrial revolution. Because around World War I and World War II and the Great Depression, it really didn't affect us. We weren't involved in their wars and we didn't rely on them. We grew our own food. So they had to figure out other ways to get us involved in this sham world and force us into becoming developed countries. Oh, you have to develop technology. You have to develop electricity or polluting up our shit. We got forced into that. Around the Great Depression, most Africans didn't even feel that. Yeah, the world wars, we weren't involved. They had to get us involved, force us to fight till you had millions of soldiers fighting for these colonial forces and getting treated like shit before, during, and after. Do you understand? They forced us into that. You can do research of that for yourself. You understand? To get us to accept their Westernism and their politics. You understand? They did that shit there. And what's interesting too is that with this whole thing with Russia, that's where the head base of Tartaria was. That was Tartaria, you understand? And the old Tartarian Empire. You understand? So Putin making his stance in front of that picture of black people, making that statement, that subliminal statement, and being that's where Tartaria was, is a big thing going on here. It's bigger than most of us can really imagine. Do you understand? And it's gonna unpack into different little sub things. Yo. Okay, where was I? Yeah. So all the colonialism of false history and stuff, a lot of it is hidden also right there with Russia. With Russia history, the true history of Russia will reveal the true happenings, what happened to Tartaria. And I feel like the Russians have got grudges and have got secrets to do with that also. So remember we was talking about when the veil was removed, how it would unmask people and people's true nature was begin to show, not just politicians, but all types of people around you in your own circles, how now it's kind of like a mask off thing. So this also stands for us as human beings, black people, Asian people, Muzungu people. It's going to unmask us and what our true nature is, where we really stand on certain things. Like you see now, white people coming out, oh, we don't want the African refugees in our Poland, you know? And they're coming out with all these racist remarks online like, oh, I'm sad because, not because soldiers are dying, but because the people have got blonde hair and blue eyes. And another one said, oh, it's hard because when we're fighting people that look like us, when I was aiming my gun, I don't even know who to shoot. So as far as they're concerned, the enemy is us, people who don't look like them. You've always been the enemy. They're showing you their hand right now. And you got to be pretty dumb, pretty stupid not to believe them. Whatever they're telling you, believe them. Whatever they're showing you, believe them. Action speaks louder than words, right? They're showing you their hand, which is a Neanderthal nature, which is based off bloodlust. They don't even need a reason to kill you. In fact, they're intimidated by you because you remind them of everything that you're not and that they will never be. And that's reason enough for them to hate your living guts. Yeah, you remind them of God. You make them see that God is real. You understand? So their nature is coming out. And remember, I've said in a live previous to this, I said, if you want to know the nature of anything, you have to go back to its origin. And if you go back to the origin, the nature will be revealed to you, whether it's a lion, dog, human, tree. You want to know the nature of anything, go back to the origin of it, and its nature will be revealed. And we ain't changed. We're the same black people, they're the same white folk, the same Asian folk, it's the same earth. You understand? It's the same trees. Nothing's changed. People's nature is still the same. So going back to the nature of things, go to John 8:44 and read it. And then after you've read John 8:44, go back to John 8:32 and read that. And that's what I mean about the nature of these beings that we're dealing with, these people that we're dealing with. You see, Putin understands the spiritual role of melanin people. The reason why he's making this subliminal statement is because he understands the role that melanin people are playing in this war, even if you don't know it. And you know what? It's not only Putin that knows it. They all know it. They know they need you because you are the head in this spiritual war. They need you in the spiritual war because it's a spiritual war. It's not a physical one. So now they're trying to manipulate your spirit and recreate you in their image so you can work for them, so you can extend their rule. You understand? You see where this is going, how it works. And both sides want the black mind. Oh, it's a battle for hearts and minds. They want your spirit. They want your mind so they can manipulate you into something other than yourself. So you don't even look about getting your justice. You're happy with them continuing to just run things like how it's been run. And this happens every time they pull a reset. The reset only means they brainwash you, me and you, yeah? So that we overlook the shit that they've done and carry on. That's the fuck a reset is. Sorry about the language. So Putin understands the spiritual role of black people and the role we're going to play in this Armageddon. And he's trying to manipulate it, just like the West is, Biden and them, talking about, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. That's the same race baiting. The same. They need to put you on the front. They can't be on the front no more. It's game over for them. They're trying to capture your spirit So they can manipulate us to save themselves. Yeah, and that's why now they keep focusing on, oh, we're just one humanity. Anytime you talk about reparations and race and that, they try and like brush it. Oh yeah, but why you always got to talk about race? We're all humans. Can't we just get along? Right? They're on that track now. Do you understand? Because they realize, bastard, our shit's ran out. We need these niggas. Now we're gonna have to appeal to them. Yeah, humanity. Oh, one world. Yeah, togetherness. And anybody that speaks about black pride and racial pride, all of a sudden you're a troublemaker. You're a reverse racist. They want you to forget that shit because they're trying to reset this shit, man. They're trying to shuffle this shit over. Why you think they're pushing so much black faces on Hollywood and on the news and on the media, on TV? You look on TV, you're like, God damn, since George Floyd died, these niggas is everywhere. It's like he was a sacrifice to put niggas on TV. Since him, like, you can have like 4 or 5 black faces on the TV at once. I ain't never seen that shit. The first time I seen that was in 2020 after George Floyd. Not even no Rona thing. George Floyd, that's a separate thing. You understand? And it's like, yo, we need to appease these black people now. You know what? Everywhere you was hearing, oh, this is the first black mayor, this woman here. This person here is the first black woman skater. This person here is the first black astronaut. This is the first black this, the first black that, the first. I'm like, yo, they really pushing us to the front right now. You understand? They're manipulating us to try and save themselves. They're giving you this fake one world togetherness shit to make you forget the atrocities that they pulled off to put themselves in the position they are and to put the world in the predicament that the world is. Yeah, colonialism, assimilation. They're recreating black people just like they did in the beginning with slavery, with creating these Negropeans, and they're recreating black people in their image. They want to create Obamas and shit. Yeah, it's a psychology. So they want you to mimic their behavior. You're not supposed to dress in dashikis and make no connection to no Africa, to the point where people are saying, I ain't African. They shit's working. Do you understand? They're recreating black people so that they can continue to reign. Yeah? They're pushing us to the front. They're forcing us to the front line. They can't be on the front line no more. So Putin now trying to bring black people into it, just like Biden brought black people into it. Just like in World War II, they brought all them millions of black soldiers into it to die for them. You understand? None of them leaders ain't going into the war like the pharaohs or nothing and riding at the front of their army. These cowards is in Downing Street and Washington hiding on the desk and shit when the shit goes down. Come on. So they want us to mimic them. If you want to get along in this world, you have to worship them. That means you have to start mimicking them. And the people who show you how to do that is your favorite celebrities. The celebrities show us how to behave like the Mzungu and worship the image of the beast, the image of the Mzungu. Do perm out your hair, put on all them blonde wigs and blue eye contacts like them Fox do, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B and that. Bleach out your face like they got Vibes Cartel and all them girls to lighten your skin, Serena Williams and all that. They show you how this is what's acceptable if you want to be in this club, this Baphomet club. You have to mimic them. You have to be like them. Your religion, your fashion sense, your speech, it has to be proper. You can't have nothing to do with no blackness in this world. You have to worship the image of the beast. And a lot of these people are worshiping the image of the beast as to why on the ground, you see all these Africans and everybody, they worship white people. It's been like this for a time. How the hell you took yourself to go live with some Nazis in the Ukraine as a black man? I don't care what your reason is. Do you understand? You're a black man and you've gone to live with some Nazis. Why? Oh, because I want a degree and I want to move to England. If that's your logic. But to me, like, come on, it's a no-brainer. These are Negropeans. Yeah. So what we're seeing here, yeah, with all this celebrityism and showing us how to be like the Mzungu, yeah, it's like them leading you off the bridge, like Travis Scott leading all his followers into that Travis World stuff, what haven't happened. They leading you off the cliff. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, and celebrities, they have an image to maintain. It's about these images. Like I keep telling you, it's an image thing, imagery, idol worship. Them celebrities, they're your idols, they're false idols. And they're selling you an image, and this imagery, which is the image of the beast. And their resets, like I said, create these Negropeans. Yeah, whether it's black people, Indian kind of Negropeans, you've got all types of them. Australian ones, they go and take you out of your indigenous culture and put you in their culture. And they did it everywhere they went. To anywhere they go, they change the dynamics of where they are. It's not even like they just took it over. It's like even the people are different. They don't look the same no more. Like Native Americans before white people don't look like Native Americans after white people have come and raped out all their women and that. They changed the whole shit. Yeah, and then they have to fall back and appease you and con you some more. They have to put you on the layers and layers and layers of it. This is the fourth time around, and the ancestors said this ain't happening no more. This shit's ending this season. Do you understand? This is it. Done. The rule of chaos is over. Yeah, after this repetitive cycle that they've locked this earth into, it's chaos for them. And that's why they're coming with this, and they're having to try and appease the black people and stuff, because in the spiritual battle, they're losing. Don't get it twisted. They might have bombs, tanks, and showing you all this weaponry and all this war. But let me tell you something, my dear friends. They are losing the spiritual battle badly, and they're desperate to try and win your spirit and your heart and mind. I hear now, shout out to my cousin Samantha. She sent me a thing, Nigerians are volunteering to go and fight with Ukrainians and other Africans. That's how stupid we are. It don't even involve us, yeah? And man want to go and, you know what I'm saying, go and fight in these wars they know nothing about. What we're seeing is natural, nature, mother nature, versus the unnatural, yeah? This demiurge, which is run by the Mzungu, yeah? It's run by them, and they live separate from nature, and they don't have a culture. Their only culture is death, war. Yeah, and they don't want you to have no conscious link back to the past and the Edenic system of living with ma'at and common law and shit. They want to lock you into this stuff of today, making you feel we have no other option but to go on in this mad world with democracy and capitalism and corporations and fucking work, excuse my language. Yeah. So, like I said, in the Matrix, Agent Smith said, yo, you're a virus, Neo. What they really saying in that Hollywood movie is they're a virus. They are a virus. That's why they call germ man, because that germ is not natural to this planet. It was planted here by their Aldebaran parents. So they're the germ men. In the word, it's in the phonetics of the word. They live separate from nature. They're unnatural, hybrid, alien beings. And that's why do you think Greys can come snatch up any amount of white people and do what they want? They're not going to get in trouble, because these people are not natural inhabitants of this planet anyway. Why do you think there's never black people in the news? Oh, black person got abducted by 4 little Greys. Them Greys ain't going to touch us, because they know we the original seed. And if they touch us, there's about to be some big repercussions for them. Do you understand? All them Mzungu, they are a part of the Greys program. They are a part of the hybrid program. They are family to them Greys there. Why do you think they come and mess around with them and snatch them up and all of this stuff? Do you understand? But we've been put in this stupid, misinformed society where half of us like, yo, it could be French I'm speaking to some of us. Shout out to the ones who have kept up and done their research. But a lot of us, yo, I could be speaking French. They've never heard nothing like this, because we've been so far gone in this Matrix thing. They don't live with nature. They Germans, they're unnatural. The Mzungu is the virus. The Mzungu is the problem. The Mzungu is the devil. The Mzungu is the Matrix. The Mzungu is harps, chemtrails, CERN, the cabal, and the 13 bloodlines. There ain't no black bloodline in that cabal. They might have black people who work with the cabal, with one of them bloodlines, but all of them bloodlines is Mzungu people, Aldebarans, mate. Yeah? CERN is a Mzungu thing. Yeah? Harp is a Mzungu thing. Chemtrails is a Mzungu thing. All of the shit that's mashing up the world is a Mzungu thing. Most of the other shit is minor. It could be sorted overnight. Minor. If you take the Mzungu out of the equation, do you understand? But they got us believing that we so need them. Everybody needs them, and we need to be nice, and we need to be one big human family and include them in every discussion we're having. And yo, because people be worshipping these. That's where their power is. They convince you to worship them. Most people say God, they're going to think of a white person. The image in their head is going to be that white Jesus or something. We come from an Edenic system of living, man. And Mother Earth is screaming, crying to go back to that. Just like you see the animals living. They don't worry about money or being greedy. They use what they need, and that's it. And they move on. They don't stack up. You don't see a lion saying, yo, let me go and kill 20 20 deers. I'm going to kill 20 deers, stack them up, and all the other lions I'm just going to show off and say, yo, I've got 20 deers, rude boy. Yeah? No one does that except humans. You understand what I'm saying? This is how far we are, and that's why we've got so much work to do on ourselves and with each other. We need to go back to the Edenic system of living, where we use what we need and that's it. And then there's enough for everyone. One geezer don't need to have 6-7 billion. You understand? We don't need a Mark Zuckerberg making how much billions per minute or what. We don't need none of that. That's a Mzungu thing. That's counterproductive. Yeah? And certain, you see, these Mzungu, how I said they're part of the program for the Greys. You know how we talk about planted ops? Them Mzungu are planted humans. They're like planted ops humans. They are not originally from here. I don't care how people feel about it. The truth is the truth. The truth really don't care how you feel. Yeah, the truth will keep a straight face and tell you that shit. You don't care. It's the truth. Yeah, the same with the old media. Mzungu thing. Social media, Mzungu thing. Yeah? We're in a black matrix. The matrix is a black thing. It affects us more than anyone, because them Mzungu, they're a part of the shit anyway. They are the fucking matrix. We're the ones who have to live with it, who was here before they brought this matrix shit in. The Mzungu came after it. They're part of that system. We ain't. We come from an older world, an older evolution. We come from an older, more royal ancestry than this bullshit counterfeit thing that's running on the planet now. Half of us be worshipping them. We want women, white women. We want to worship these white women. We don't want to worship the sisters. See all these brothers out here talking about white girls and shit. You go on my page, you're going to see sisters. If you don't like it, get off my page. Get off. Whether you're black, white, or whatever. Because you ain't going to see me promoting no white woman over my shit. Do you understand? I'm going to promote black women. I don't care who likes it. I don't care. I'm doing it because I like it. Do you understand? And that's what I'm about. I'm going to glorify my sisters. You got all these guys out here, oh, I don't date black women. You a white supremacist. You telling me you don't date black women. You only date white women. Nigga, you hate yourself. You probably hate your mom. You understand what I'm saying? You probably think your mom's ugly. You hate yourself. You probably don't even look in the mirror. You duck when you pass the mirror, nigga. Ugly ass. So yeah, there's a lot of black people who is casted in the image of the beast. Revelation 13, 15 to 16. They're caught up in all that. They're going to be taking that mark. Yeah, all these people. There's women like that too. They don't date black men. Yeah, piss off then. Go and date a Mzungu man, innit? Like, you get me? You got all these people that only respect white authority. They need to hear it on the news or hear it from a white person. Or they only respect white papers. You need to go to a white institution, Oxford, Yale, Harvard. That's why you have to be caught up in Ukraine, trying to run over there and get some qualifications. You don't want to go to university in Africa. Africa got universities. Africa got places where you can get a degree. Cairo got good universities and shit. University of Cairo. University started with us black people. That shit started in West Africa, Timbuktu, nigga. We showed the world about universities and education and school and shit. But these Africans, we've been so battered and put out an image that we running as the originators to go run and live in some snow with some Nazis. The world's a joke, yeah? You got bombs going off in Yemen. For how long? All through the lockdown and shit. How long there been these Arabs been bombing up black people in Yemen? Yeah, they dropped bombs on Somalia the other day. You ain't hear nothing about this shit on the news. Ain't nobody kicking up a fuss about it. White people done gone all over the planet, invading people's countries and colonizing people's countries. Soon as people go to fucking Ukraine, all of a sudden there's a law in the world, oh, it's against international law, you can't go to Ukraine, they're a sovereign country, and you even got black people singing these same shits. The same thing with Palestine. Soon as Palestine kicked off, you got all these black Muslims, they're so concerned, oh, our brothers, the Akis, the brothers in Palestine. You don't give a shit about black people unless it's Muslims. Haiti, you don't care. They look like you, me and you, they're black people, but because they're not Muslim, you don't hear Muslims talking about Haiti like that. Not in the collective. But soon as something happens to some Palestinians, them niggas don't even look like you, most of them. Them niggas is some Mzungus, yeah? Oh, stop for law, free Palestine. We're the same thing now with Ukraine, all these black people. Why don't you hold the same energy for Yemen or for Somalia? or for the second war that happened in Central Africa that nobody knows about. All these little things, yeah, but we just, like I said, where the media points, that's where people look and start paying attention. It's time to wake up, man. Half of y'all niggas be worshipping these Muzungus, man. You understand about Ukraine, yeah? Nigga, please, yeah? And you see how long we've been talking about these Flugelrod, Hullub, yeah? Pleiadian, Aldebaran, blonde hair, blue-eyed jeans, yeah? And people are styling me out like I'm some kind of racist, yeah? Like I like to talk about this shit. Like I don't have any other friends that ain't black. I've got white friends and shit. It's not gonna stop me from telling the truth. Do you understand what I'm saying? And now you see in your own news, you can't get away from what I already told y'all. It's about fucking race. And you're never gonna get away from the fact that it's always been about race and it always will be about race. Whether you like it or not, whether you're in your feelings about it, that's what it's about. It's about race. And it's gonna go back to that critical race. So guys, with that being said, I ain't even gonna go through the comments because as you can see, this was a rant. This weren't even a live. I just felt like ranting this shit out. You understand? So I might as well just go and sit in a corner and meditate and collect myself. I hope this didn't offend y'all, and I hope it's something that you guys can align with because it's coming from a place of truth. I'm coming from an authentic place. I'm not doing this for nothing other than yo. I thought y'all needed to hear that after what I said yesterday with the Paleman's walk. You can consider this as a part 2 to add on to what we said yesterday, yeah? With that being said, we love you all. Namastu. That's the end of the transmission.